It's a form of attempted spiritual genocide.
That's not the reality. The reality is not Christianity over Judaism. The reality is having a personal relationship with the living God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Hello, I'm R.H. Thompson, and welcome to Man Alive. Tonight we look at the frictions developing between a religious group called Jews for Jesus and many in the Jewish community, specifically a group called Jews for Jews. Now, no one can doubt or question the sincerity of individual beliefs, and a rich part of human history has been the multiplicity of faiths which give expression to spiritual illumination. Illumination, which is the source of religions. But is anyone seriously to believe that in this magnificence which is creation, there are competing spiritual sources? There are rival envelopes of souls, rivalries based on earthly history and earthly culture? A sadder part of history has been religious conflict, which has run very deep and very bloody. Protestant, Catholic, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, etc. My personal feeling is that little of this conflict has been fueled by the Spirit. Rather, it's driven by that charged energy called identity, which becomes woven into religions. And it is driven by groups who feel that they and only they are right. And surely this rectitude isn't spiritual nature. It's human nature. The positive in the friction we will see tonight is that it represents an abundance of spiritual expression. The negative is that it means once again we're fighting over territory of the Spirit.
I feel I was deceived into believing that something that wasn't Jewish, something that was completely opposite to what Judaism meant, was presented to me as authentic Judaism.
Sasha Katz is a Ukrainian Jew. At age 17, he moved to Canada and became a Jew for Jesus. He became one of thousands of Jews who worship Christ. Today, he is part of Toronto's Orthodox Jewish community, a people still waiting for their promised Messiah.
I was told that believing in Jesus was just a fulfillment of being Jewish. As a matter of fact, if you didn't believe in Jesus, you were damned for eternity, thus, you were not a fulfilled Jew.
Sasha is just one of many Jews targeted by evangelical missionaries who hold on to their Jewish identity. They call themselves Messianic Jews. Their mission is to bring all Jews to Jesus before his return to earth.
It's like part of your family is being taken away from you. For thousands of years, Jews had existed as a Jewish nation, authentically Jewish. What they're trying to do is to take away people and bring them into their religion, taking them away basically from our family.
It's a form of attempted spiritual genocide. That's the only way to put it. These people are being lost to Judaism as sure as they are dying off. And we take this extremely seriously. It's something that we will not let go. This is very much a battle for Jewish life and Jewish souls.
Andrew Barron is a Jew for Jesus, a missionary bringing the gospel to Jews. His mission here is to enlist Christians in his cause.
I have a Jewish friend. I work in the fire department, and our dispatcher is Jewish. And he's not too serious. Like, he's a conservative Jew, but I don't know how.
Let me give you some literature that you can give to him.
Yeah, that would be really good.
And this would be for you. I'll give you my business card,
Okay.
and maybe you could tell him about me, and I'd be glad to give him a call
Okay.
if he's open to chatting to me.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely. That'd be great. And I want to pick up a couple books. I think this would be really good.
By visiting churches across the country, Jews for Jesus encourages its Christian allies to share the Messianic message with their Jewish friends, to convince them that Jesus is the Jewish Messiah.
It's not a question of choosing one religion over another. So many people want to say that somehow we say, oh, this is a better religion, this is a better dogma, and you have to choose it because it's better. That's not the reality. The reality is not Christianity over Judaism. The reality is having a personal relationship with the living God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
We exist to make the messiahship of Jesus an unavoidable issue for Jewish people worldwide. It is true that most Jewish people are socially and culturally indoctrinated against the gospel. Most find it impossible to understand how you can be Jewish and believe in Jesus. How could he be the Messiah of Israel? We need people to stand with us and look forward with us and to say, yes, I see what you see, I know what you know, that if Jesus is the Messiah for anybody, he certainly is the Messiah for the Jewish people. Remember to give to Jews for Jesus for only one reason, because you want to say yes and amen to getting more of the gospel out to more Jewish people.
The Jews for Jesus mission is supported by many evangelical churches. Last year, the Southern Baptists outraged the Jewish community by promising funds to missionary groups like Jews for Jesus.
We'd like you to join us as we reach out together to the lost sheep, the house of Israel.
Everything I'm going to describe to you today in regards to the way the missionaries have overcome this effort to convert Jews is based primarily on my own experience.
Julius Sis first entered a Messianic synagogue at age 25, led there by a Christian girlfriend. For 5 years, he used his talents as one of Canada's best-known illustrators to help promote the Messianic Jewish movement. Today, as the Canadian Director of Jews for Judaism, he leads the Jewish counteroffensive against conversion.
The reality is the two religious systems are totally 100% opposite. We can't agree on any major theological principle, be that the nature of God. Christianity claims that God is a trinity. Judaism says, no, it's not, it's a unity. Christianity claims that we're all born evil, doomed to burn in hell forever. Judaism says, no, we're all born equally innocent, with the potential of doing either good or bad.
I was the victim of spiritual abuse. I was duped into becoming a Christian based on a new missionary technology, which I'm about to illustrate. And having realized the mistake I've made, I am now motivated to try and share with as many Jewish people the nature of this problem in hopes that Jewish people will not get involved.
Shalom, Jews for Jesus.
The 50s and 60s, 1950s and 1960s, a few Jews who had converted to Christianity and rose up the ranks in some of the missionary organizations came up with a new way of approaching the Jew that they felt would really work. These Jews rationalized that they had been convinced to convert to Christianity based on the Christian premise that Jesus was the Jewish Messiah. So they argued, why not come up with a technique that will present Christianity as so Jewish that it will be irresistible to the potential Jewish convert?
I'm just going to show you some of these items and you'll get a sense of what's going on out there. Here's an interesting book called May Your Name Be Inscribed in the Book of Life, a Torah scroll on the cover. What is it? It looks like a very kosher Jewish book. It says it's a Messianic Jewish version of the New Covenant Scriptures. What does that mean? It is a New Testament. New Testament. I illustrated the cover of this when I was working in the movement, and I also illustrated the cover of this, an album cover for a group called Kol Simcha. My instructions here were to make the album look as attractively Jewish as possible. So here we have a Christian singing group, a portrait of all 16 members, dressed up as Jews, dancing in front of the kotel, the logos done in a text that makes it look Hebrew. He's dressed as a chassid, dancing with his bride.
We've organized ourselves in a way that we can celebrate the Jewish holidays and believe in Jesus. So it's true that we are bringing the message in a contextualized way. But we have the full liberty to do that with integrity and honesty and honor because he is the Jewish Messiah.
To abuse the holy symbol of a Jewish Passover Seder, to wear a Jewish prayer shawl in a church and misrepresent its true meaning is as dirty as one can get. I think it's an abomination.
The Jewish authorities do not own or have a copyright on Jewish symbols. They're for all Jews around the world. And Jews who believe in Jesus are 100% Jewish as any other Jew. And we have a right to our heritage.
In the heart of Toronto's Jewish community, City of David is Canada's newest Messianic synagogue. Its founder, Jeff Foreman, trained in Philadelphia, where he ministered to North America's largest Messianic congregation. Tonight, Messianic Jews and Christians together are celebrating one of the holiest Jewish holidays, Passover.
We are here tonight as Jews. We are celebrating the deliverance of our Jewish people from the land of Egypt 3,500 years ago. As Messianic Jews,
Jews who believe in Jesus also use the Passover feast to commemorate the resurrection of Christ. It is what Christians celebrate on Easter Sunday.
and as he began his final Passover Seder, many of you probably know that the Last Supper was actually a Passover Seder. Well, I didn't know that growing up. I had no idea. But it was actually a Passover Seder. All the disciples were Jewish, and as a matter of fact, all the writers of the New Testament were Jewish as well. Some question whether Luke was Jewish, but I use some old-fashioned secular and say Luke was a doctor, he had to be Jewish.
Primarily, the early church was Jewish entirely, and the Roman Empire acknowledged them as a Jewish sect.
And in truth, anti-Semitism came in very shortly after. My husband probably knows the historical dates better than I do, but around the Constantine, emperor at the time, things were deliberately set up in what could now be called the Christian religion. They were not called Christians to begin with. They were called believers. That's what I call myself.
If you're going to be a Jew who converts to Christianity, call yourself a Christian. You don't see Muslims walking around calling themselves Muslims for Jesus. You don't see Hindus walking around calling themselves Hindus for Jesus. A Hindu converts to Christianity, becomes a Christian. And they have no gumption about calling themselves a Christian. They do it. Why, when it comes to Jews, do they want to do this? And I really believe that this is one of the marketing tools of these particular movements to make the notion of being a Jew and believing in Jesus that much more enticing.
Becoming involved in Christianity had a lot to do with my psychological state at that time, my where I was living, whom did I know, how long I was in the country, being a stranger in the new world, basically. That had a lot to do how I became Christian. Becoming an Orthodox Jew, going towards being an Orthodox Jew, had to do with a rational decision of mine on what does it mean to be Jewish.
More than 2,000 Messianic Jews are celebrating their belief in Jesus at this year's Messiah Conference in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Over the past 2 decades, the conference has grown into the world's largest meeting of Messianic Jews. For many Jews, this conference is their baptism into a new faith, the beginning of their spiritual life as Messianic Jews.
Now, we're going to have Rabbi Jonathan Bernis back again. And in his ministry alone in the former Soviet Union in the last few years, over 100,000 people have come to know Yeshua as Lord. Praise God. And over 60,000 of them are Jewish. Praise God.
We are Messianic Jews. We call ourselves Messianic Jews as opposed to Jewish Christians or Jewish believers because we're saying to the Jewish community, we're saying to the church, we're saying to the world that we have embraced the Jewish Messiah and we are still Jews. I remember my first letter from the rabbi after I became a believer calling me a Nazi. It's not easy being rejected by family and friends and people that you respect. But in order for us to see ourselves as the head and not the tail, we have to deal with any unresolved guilt.
At the Messiah Conference, Jewish symbols are central in what is a celebration of Christian faith. By holding on to their Jewish identity, Messianic Jews believe they are the light that will lead all Jews to Jesus. Messianic Rabbi Jeff Foreman followed his sister and mother to accept Jesus as his Messiah.
Well, when I first accepted him, I went through an identity crisis because my heart was saying, yes, he's the Messiah, but my mind was saying, but I'm Jewish. So there was an internal conflict for some months. But when I finally received him, I felt darkness just go out of me, and God gave me the gift of joy, which has been with me ever since. I was always kind of searching for God, but when I received Yeshua, I made that connection, and I've never been the same. This is just one practical way. Write it down, because it works. And it doesn't evoke a defense. I don't say, do you want to make Jesus Christ the Lord of your life? That could evoke a defensive mechanism. Would you agree? I don't say things like that. I simply say this. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Now, when I say that, I can't remember ever anyone saying no. No one has ever said no to me. It piques their curiosity. Oh, well, what does he want to ask? So they have given me permission to ask them a question. Have you ever thought much about spiritual things? I didn't say anything about God, didn't say anything about the Bible. I just said, have you ever thought much about spiritual things?
On the road leading into the Messiah Conference, Jews for Judaism is camped out. Julius Sis has teamed up with his American counterparts for their 12th year, attempting to win back Jews to Judaism.
Why don't I give up what?
Give up business.
Well, if for one,
I know the spiel already.
What's the spiel?
If I save one soul, it's worth it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Why don't you come here and do our work for us? Oh, this is CBC. They're doing a program on Man Alive.
This guy kind of drove down the road there, parked his car, and then snuck through the bushes and was videotaping. We've been accused of videotaping the people here at the conference and using it to raise money, or who knows what else they've been accusing us of doing. So what we do is we videotape. The only thing we videotape is the people videotaping us. But yeah, we're sitting by the side of the road here. Into every life a little fun must fall.
We are not under the authority of the rabbis. We are under the authority of the scriptures. And that is a major difference between the rabbinic or modern Jewish community, mainstream Jewish community, and Messianic Judaism. I don't want to go to the Wailing Wall and be blessed by the rabbi. He does not have anything I need. I have what he needs.
If you go up there and you don't speak a word of English, you speak Swahili. You go in there, you're going to be motivated to convert by the fact that the emotion is great. The music is great. Everybody's hugging each other and swinging to the music, and praise the Lord. It's so motivating. I tell you, if you're looking for something to break your bond to a mundane life, and you're looking for some kind of spirituality, they're going to have something that's doing something.
I want to ask you tonight, do you want to be respected by people, accepted by the mainstream Jewish community, or do you want to be honored by God as the radical and rejected obedient servant? I don't know what you see in your book, but I see this thing getting bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger and more powerful. And I will tell you that the day is coming, according to this word, when all Israel will be saved. Let's stand.
happens I'm a Messianic Jew?
No such thing.
Well, that's what you say. There's
Correct.
Let me ask you a question. Did you ever have to go buy a used car?
No, I
When people go buy a used car,
you usually that has nothing to do with God.
you talked about your cat.
We, as Jewish people, are very vocal, but we shouldn't be out with a goyim.
We're having a good time.
I mean, getting very
We're having
vocal.
a good time.
I hope you don't have to spend 23 years.
I have to spend eternity believing the way I believe.
I used to say that. I was you.
Good.
A year ago,
You know
it
what?
was
I can prove you never made an informed decision. You know how I can prove
No,
that?
it doesn't matter if I made it informed or not. I
Because
did,
you
I
never.
did it through faith, and that's what God asked for.
Before we get into this, is there a way that I could be in touch with you?
Of course. Turn this over.
Okay, great.
Circle Baltimore.
Baltimore, great.
All right.
Can I
And my
get
name
is
is
there a way I
Mark.
could get a post office box or something?
She said that for 23 years, she thought she was communicating
Let me ask you
with God.
something. You know what? She was a Jew.
23 years.
Let me ask you something. If you're a Jew and you're
25 years.
listen to
No,
me,
because you're not answering my question.
God will not come down with his hand out of the heavens, pull you up for making mistakes, and put you on the right path. We're human beings. He gives us free choice. If you decide to walk across the road,
I feel no anger, no anguish towards the people. It's not the people who they sincerely believe in what they believe in. I just wish that I also had met somebody from Jewish community who would show me the other side of the coin. When I videotape a bar mitzvah wedding, each one is different. Even though I've done a lot of that, each one is something different. It's a new beginning. In a way, I also had a new beginning when I went towards being Jewish, keeping the Jewish laws, and so there's somewhat of a parallel of what I do when I film the bar mitzvahs or weddings in my own life.
That's our show for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm R.H. Thompson. Good night.
Rip things out of
with
your
our
hand.
1-800 number. And I said, well, that was definitely not us. Somebody want to help me fold this?
Because I don't like rejection, so if you rejected her, I probably would feel
David,
worse.
have I rejected you, baby?
No. If you see something in there, when I put it away,
through you, oh Lord, as grace.
Lord, bring us back. Bring us back to you.